We got ourselves a new week. Get on in here. It is Monday, January the 20th. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Here's what we're working on this morning. It's a pretty big day because Donald Trump will be returning to the Oval Office as the 47th President of the United States.
Several brands of eggs sold in Ontario are being recalled.
And we are down to the Final Four in the NFL, and the Buffalo Bills are one of them. And props to the 70,000 fans that sat outside in the cold last night in Buffalo, taking that game in. Whoa, baby. Good morning.
Morning.
So, I don't know about you guys, but before I went outside, I did like the... Okay, let's see how this goes.
How bad is this going to... I did exactly the same thing. Yeah. Like, I turned the doorknob and I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, you got to psych yourself up for that one. But, hey, we can do it. We're Canadians.
Hey,
yes.
Come on. Good attitude.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, the temperature right now is minus 12. Yeah. Then you factor in, thankfully, a light wind at the moment. Wind chill right now is minus 19. However, we're only going to climb to minus 10 today. And the winds are really going to pick up. We're going to have a wind chill of minus 22 for the afternoon. So it's going to feel cold today, tonight, tomorrow, dangerously cold with the winds. The winds tomorrow will be even stronger, and tomorrow's wind chill during the day will be minus 28, so it's going to be dangerously cold. Risk of frostbite if you're out for too long for the day tomorrow. There are no cold weather alerts issued as of yet, but they will be because that temperature and the wind chills are going to be significant. So we'll talk about that coming up. We do have some light snow right now, and we'll get some light flurry activity for the day. Checking traffic. 403 Waterdown Road. Light volume. Nothing to see right there. Looks good. We'll check our other cameras. Look some MTO traffic cameras. Grays Road, Stony Creek looks good there. Top of the Skyway Bridge. Already some brake lights coming on as you head toward Burlington. And the Appleby line, as you can see, we've had some light snow. The crews are out doing their thing. Let them do their thing, please, so that the roads are much better as the day goes on because of that snow flurries. We'll look at weather and traffic coming up in a few minutes for you right now. The news.
Mm-hmm. All eyes stateside today because Donald Trump will be returning to the Oval Office as the 47th President of the United States. But all eyes on this side of the border will be watching to see what this means for devastating tariffs. Trump's team reportedly has more than 100 executive orders prepared to be signed in. The 25% tariff threat on Canadian goods is included in that. Canada has multiple options prepared depending on what Trump does decide to do. If he goes through with the tariffs, Canada would impose counter tariffs worth about $37 billion with possibly more to follow. And Premier Doug Ford says any action by Trump could affect up to 500,000 Ontario jobs. Now, the Inauguration Day events, they are set to kick off later this morning inside the Capitol Rotunda due to the intense colds in D.C. Country music star Carrie Underwood is performing, and a number of tech billionaires and world leaders, they will be in attendance today. Our Simone Gavros is going to be in Niagara Falls for us this morning, taking us through all the day's events.
Most of Ontario, including Hamilton and Niagara, is under an extreme cold warning that's supposed to extend as late as Wednesday. Environment Canada says an Arctic air mass is driving bitterly cold wind chills. The weather agency says it's a good idea to dress warmly in layers, keep pets inside, and to check on family, friends, and neighbors amid the freezing temperatures.
A dog has been rescued after falling through thin ice in the Welland River. This happened around 11:30 yesterday morning near Prince Charles Drive and Colbeck Drive. Fire crews, they quickly reached the scene and pulled the dog to safety, bringing it back to their station to warm up. The dog was in distress from hypothermia but was taken care of until the SPCA could arrive. Now, in a separate incident, not too long after, crews also responded to reports of kids playing on the ice near Niagara Street on West Main Street. A person was found skating near open water, and crews advised them to get off that ice.
Caution our people not to trust any ice. No ice is safe ice, and ask that they remain on shore and contact emergency services if people or animals are in distress.
That's Welland Fire Chief Adam Eckhart. He's asking the public just to be cautious around ice. He says there are many skating areas in the community and encourages people to use those instead.
There was a dramatic scene unfolding on the QEW last night in Niagara when the driver of a car lost control in the passing lane, sending the passenger side under a transport truck's trailer. This happened just before 8 last night near Christie Street in Grimsby. CHCH freelancer says 2 people in that car were able to get out on their own. No one was injured in the crash. It did cause significant delays, though, as crews cleared the scene.
I want to stay in Grimsby now because 6 suspects are on the run following a brazen jewelry store robbery that was caught on camera. Similar to previous trends in these robberies, the masked suspects, they used hammers to gain entry, which were then used to smash several display cases. Police say the suspects left the area in a vehicle heading towards Mountain Street. So we spoke with the owner of the jewelry store, who says both staff and customers were inside at the time of the robbery, got out safely. While no one was hurt physically, staff were shaken up after this traumatic event.
There's been a new confirmed case of measles involving a child from Haldimand, Norfolk. The Grand Erie Public Health Authority says it's doing contact tracing. Health officials believe the exposure happened at an after-hours care clinic in Simcoe. It's the one on Donnelly Drive near Victoria Street and Ireland Road, and that contact was on January 14th. If you think you've been exposed to the virus, you're asked to check your vaccination records, monitor for symptoms, and speak with your healthcare provider before you go to any clinic in person. 61 cases of salmonella across Canada, including 17 that have required hospitalization, are linked to recalled mini pastries. The Public Health Agency of Canada has issued a recall for the Sweet Cream brand mini pastries. They were served at bakeries, hotels, restaurants, cafeterias, hospitals, retirement homes, and have also been served at catered events. There have been 21 illnesses in Ontario, 33 in Quebec. The rest are in BC, Alberta, and New Brunswick. The recall covers Sweet Cream mini pastière 4-kilogram boxes and 1-kilogram trays. They had best before dates from June 17th, 2025 up to and including November 15th of this year. And you want to check the date on your egg cartons. That's because there's been a recall because of a potential salmonella contamination. It affects eggs sold in Ontario, BC, Manitoba, and possibly some other provinces. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says these eggs were sold under the brand names of Compliments, No Name, Golden Valley, and Western Family, with expiry dates of February 16th, February 22nd, and March 1st. Salmonella can cause fever, headache, nausea, and diarrhea, and it poses a greater threat to young children, seniors, and pregnant women.
All right, so we're down to the Final Four in the NFL as the divisional games went down this weekend, with the final one being the most anticipated from Orchard Park, where the Bills were hoping to take down Lamar Jackson and his Baltimore Ravens. This one lives up to the hype, with Jackson throwing a TD late, only needed a 2-point conversion to tie it.
And the whole season essentially comes down to this play for these two great teams. We'll roll, flip it, got it. Oh, the ball was dropped. He had the 2-point conversion in his hands. Andrews did not hold on.
What a crushing moment for the usual rock-steady Ravens tight end Mark Andrews, who dropped the game-tying 2-point conversion and allowed the Bills to sneak away with the 27-25 win and book a spot in the AFC title game against those Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Bills' Josh Allen, who's in a fight with Lamar Jackson for MVP honors, had a quiet night in the air, not tossing a touchdown, but scored 2 himself on a frigid night in Buffalo. Now it's a chance to beat them Chiefs, a team they have lost 3 times to in the playoffs, but did beat them earlier this season. Should be fun, like it was on a snowy day in Philadelphia.
Wide open, you keep running.
118 yards and adding to it. There goes Barkley into the clear, through the snow, all the way home. He's hit another home run against the Rams.
Yeah, no snow was stopping the Eagles' Saquon Barkley, who ran away. He was a runaway train on that 78-yard touchdown romp. 1 of 2 on the day for Barkley, who ran for the 5th most yards in playoff history with 205. Give the LA Rams credit. They didn't let the snow fall and affect them trying to mount a comeback, and they were oh so close to pulling off the upset, but they would lose 28-22, meaning the Eagles. They will host the NFC title game Sunday when Washington comes to town after shocking Detroit on Saturday night.
Out to the top, walks it along. Hamra cuts inside, nice move. Hamra scores!
Big weekend for the Brantford Bulldogs. 3 games, 3 wins. After sweeping a home-and-home with Oshawa Friday and Saturday, they welcomed North Bay into the Matt House on Market Street, where Thomas Amara scored a beauty goal in the first to tie things up with the battalion. Then you had OHL goaltender Nick Larder scoring the winner in the second. It's 37th of the season. Dogs take it 2-1. They move into 3rd spot in the division. And St. Catharines, the first-place Ice Dogs, coming off a win over North Bay on Saturday, wrapped up their weekend with a tough loss to the Barrie Colts, who dominated the Dogs, scoring 3 times in the third. They ran away with this one 5-1. So Niagara sits first in the Central, second in the conference, and they travel to Brantford on Wednesday night. Let's finish up with Hamilton. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, so popular that he is signing babies before the game with his Thunder. As the OKC try to get back in the win column after dropping only their 7th game of the season Friday night, when SGA had to sit out with a sore wrist. No issues for him last night. He would drop 27 points, but also throw 10 dimes as the Thunder continued their home dominance. 127-101, the beatdown of the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay, 6:11 is the time on this 20th morning of January, and a cold one. We'll talk about that coming up. First of all, quick check on traffic. Not a lot happening. We're starting to see some brake lights on the Skyway. This is the 403 and Waterdown Road. That's our exclusive camera. Not a problem right there. To some MTO traffic cameras, House St. Catharines, pretty light volume and some snow flurry activity. As you can see, nothing there. The 405, Grays Road, Stony Creek to Fairview, starting to slow down. Yeah, you slow down on the Skyway and head toward Brand Street. Nothing at the Ford plant. Here's a look at Cawthra, doing fine so far this morning. Okay, temperatures, let's get into them here. -12 right now with a wind chill of -19. We had an email from Grant in Brandon, Manitoba, and he says, you think you've got cold? It's -34 with a wind chill of -47 in Brandon, Manitoba right now. Okay. Let's get back here to the warmth here of southern Ontario, shall we, from that? So today for school, we're expecting flurries, maybe a couple of centimeters. Temperature will climb to -10. But that wind chill is going to be strong today. There's the flurry activity that we've been getting. We've had some throughout the overnight, getting some to the lee of Lake Huron, as you can see, pushing its way across the Niagara Peninsula. There's a high pressure ridge to the south of us, but actually there's not a lot else. We've got an approaching warm front that's going to help us later in the week, but not for the next few days. Look at the temperatures we're expecting today. Maybe 2 to 4 centimeters, 2 for Hamilton, 4 for Simcoe Cayuga, but look at these minus double-digit highs for the day today, and wind chill values about -19. Tonight, temperatures back down to -15 to 16, so wind chill values about -22. We'll get some flurries. And then tomorrow, even colder, -11 to -12, -13 and 14. Wind chill values tomorrow, because the winds are going to be so strong, will be -28. So a bitterly cold and a dangerously cold day tomorrow if you're out in that wind for too long. So what we have out the door this morning, just some light snow. It is cloudy. Temperature right now -12. Long range coming up. Annette, Tim.
Thank you.
Off and running on your Monday. We're going to check in with our good friend Emily Vukovic, see what she's got going on in Chit Chats on this January the 20th. Also in business news, a number of things that we're watching because it is a big day down south when it comes to Canadian business, including Trump's looming tariffs on our goods. Okay, hello.
Hi. Hi. Just trying to warm up over here.
Yeah, it's a little chilly in the studio, too.
It is cold in here.
I know.
All right, coming up, the king of horror fiction has sparked some debate over the upcoming Academy Awards ceremony. Beyonce has become the most nominated artist in Grammy history. And later this morning, the Dutton family prepares for war in the first trailer for 1923 Season 2.
This is Yellowstone?
Yeah, the
Yellowstone.
It's a prequel.
Yeah.
Prequel, thank you. That's
Who's
the word I was looking
what was
for.
the first story? Who is it?
The Dutton family.
No. The first story you mentioned, the horror guy.
Oh, Stephen King.
Oh, Stephen King.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did I not say
Stevie's
Stephen
got some
King?
stuff to say.
I thought I said. Did I said it right?
You did say Stephen King. No.
I didn't.
No.
No.
It was a tease.
It was a tease.
It was a tease.
There you go. And we now know. All right. See you at the couch in a bit.
I'll be there.
Okay. Taking a look at our dollar because business news is going to be big, and it took a big hit over the weekend with Trump's tariffs threat weighing on the currency. It is down 19 basis points, trading just above 69 cents U.S. Gold, it's down an ounce, 27.47.70. Crude oil down 56 cents, 77.32 a barrel. All right, off to Europe we go. Hey, Europe. Trading markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia, markets saw triple-digit gains in Tokyo and Hong Kong. Shanghai saw very small gains. In North American markets, the TSX was up 221 points on Friday. The Dow added 334, and the Nasdaq closed nearly 300 points higher. U.S. markets are closed today, not for the inauguration, but because today is Martin Luther King Day.
But yeah, the markets are going to be keeping a close eye on as the inauguration does take place today and it's going to happen throughout the week. And starting off the week, there were a few things that could impact our markets. There's the threat of the 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods with the inauguration of Trump happening. Now, he has said he would impose them on his first day back in office, illegal border crossings, excuse me, and drug trafficking if they are not curbed. Canada and the U.S. trade are deeply intertwined, so we supply more than half of the U.S. crude imports, and Washington has invested millions in critical mineral projects in Canada just to reduce reliance on China. Experts, they warn tariffs on Canadian imports would hurt consumers on both sides of the border. Sources say our federal government has options for retaliatory tariffs ready to go, depending on what Trump does.
New inflation data is also coming out tomorrow. Economists expect it's going to show inflation slowed down again in December. That would pave the way for the Bank of Canada to continue cutting interest rates. A Reuters poll shows economists expect the annual inflation rate in Canada to come in at an average of 1.7% for December. RBC sees it falling to 1.5%. That is thanks in part to the federal government's temporary sales tax holiday on some foods and alcohol, restaurant meals, and children's toys.
Well, one of the largest mutual fund companies in the U.S., Vanguard, has agreed to pay investors $106 million. It's because of changes Vanguard made to its investor target retirement funds, which resulted in larger capital gains taxes. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission found that Vanguard made misleading statements in 2020 and 2021 for these funds. Now, the changes prompted many institutional investors to move their money out of these funds. Vanguard was charged with not telling individual investors that. Although it's agreed to the payout, it did not admit wrongdoing.
Food giant PepsiCo is being taken to court in the United States. That company sells not only Pepsi products, but also several brands of chips, including Doritos and Lay's. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission accuses PepsiCo of illegal price discrimination with a large retailer that sources say is Walmart. The Trade Commission says the retailer benefited from consistent pricing advantages through promos and advertising from PepsiCo. The agency says those benefits present a disadvantage to family-owned grocers, convenience stores, and other large chains. PepsiCo says it, quote, strongly disputes the allegations.
Okay, let's look at business news on your Monday. We knew it was going to be cold. It is. How long is it going to last is the question. Brian has that for you after this.
On the button 624 here on this Monday morning, let's check traffic first of all. QEW in the 406 and St. Catharines is doing fine. We have a problem, Niagara Falls at the 420. We don't have any cameras there. 420 and the QEW. We had a vehicle fire there and the cleanup continues. Hamilton side of the top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, as you can see, very slow heading down to North Shore Boulevard. Nothing at Appleby Line, wide open at Sheridan on the QEW. 403 at Glen Erin Drive looks pretty good so far, but careful. We've had some light snow flurry activity, and that's going to continue for the day today, and we could get a couple of centimeters. Check the temperatures that we have at the moment. Hamilton -12, wind chill of -19. Now, An extreme cold weather alert has been issued for the city of Hamilton, but not for southern Ontario. To the north of us, yes. Minus 11 Grimsby, Toronto, minus 13 for Mississauga. So seasonals this time of year, minus 2 for the daytime high, minus 10 for the overnight low. Sometimes records. Record for today, by the way, of a low is minus 26. So we're not going to be quite there. For school today, minus 12 for the first bell, minus 10 for after school. So at least we'll hit an overnight low seasonal. So that's the way it looks for today. A couple of centimeters. Wind chill about minus 22. Tonight, minus 16. Wind chill minus 25 now. And then tomorrow, minus 12 with a wind chill of minus 28. It's going to be dangerously cold for tomorrow. Sun and minus 11. Then it starts to moderate a bit temperature-wise. Minus 5 and then minus 2 for the weekend. Getting better. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Okay, well, dogs and their owners were invited for a special screening of a canine classic at a movie theater in France on the weekend.
So this cinema in Paris welcomed 18 dogs and their people to watch the Walt Disney classic, Lady and the Tramp. More dog-friendly screenings are planned, including the 1992 film, Beethoven. You know that one? The story of the big old slobbery St. Bernard who escapes a pet shop and ends up being adopted by a family. Interested who has to clean up the theater after this.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. It's not just spilled popcorn.
No. We know this because it's Adoptable Pet Monday, and it's generally a clean up over at that big red couch over there after a dog or a cat arrives. So I couldn't imagine.
Luckily, it's just like fur.
Sure. Yes. Hasn't been other incidents as of yet.
Accidents.
Yes. But when you get a whole bunch of them together, they can get excited. All right, Monday, new week. Very cold. So prepare yourself and prepare the kids. They might not even be going outside for recess today because of the cold temperatures. More on that after this.